Out a little bit more about web pen testing and something that used to run rampant on the internet some time ago was remote and local file inclusions, otherwise known as RFIs and LFIs. Now, the difference between the two is pretty obvious by the names. Remote file inclusion means that in the PHP code somewhere, they would put in a parameter to direct you to a page or something like that, or include a page, and actually they didn't sanitize the data, and so you could include a remote file, which would be like a evil hacker script there to run system commands in their website and print the data to you. And then there was also local file inclusion, which is pretty dangerous because then, of course, privileges, with the right privileges, you should be able to, pull down the contents of certain files on the system, like the password file located in the etc directory in Linux. So as you can see, it's pretty dangerous. So today what we're going to go ahead and do is fire up our DVWA that we've used in the XSS video, and if you haven't seen that, go ahead and check that out. If you guys need help setting up DVWA, go ahead and post in our forums at learnnetsec.com under the community tab, which is conveniently located right up here. And of course, if you hadn't signed up for an account already, go ahead and do it. It's free. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and fire up my Kali Linux box. I went ahead and logged into my DVWA web pen test lab here already. And today, like I said, we're going to focus on file inclusions. Now, of course, once you click on here, it kind of tells you what it's about. To include a file, edit the page parameter in the URL to determine which file is included. Well, again, I'm running this as root right now, as I do for most of the videos here. So up here in the parameter, you can see that it's basically page equals include.php. So in the parameter, they're actually including a localized or stored localized page, but the problem is they don't sanitize the data after page equals. So kind of like a SQL injection exploit where they don't sanitize the little quotation mark deal or apostrophe at the end. It's kind of the same idea. So briefly, I'll show you how this works. For more information, whenever you're using DVWA, you can always scroll down to the bottom there and view the help for this particular exploit or vulnerability. And of course, you can go ahead and read through that. Now, including our local example, you can do dot dot backslash or forward slash, whatever you want to call it, dot dot again, 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 and all the way escape all the way back like a directory transversal that we showed in another video, back to the etc directory and the password file. Now, of course, a remote example would be, page equals and then a different website. So you can see here they have evilsite.com / evil.php. Now, in that PHP file, like I said, you would have some sort of evil commands, and in PHP, if you're not familiar with it, you can actually run system commands in the syntax of your code. So basically, if you included that, now I don't have an example for that unfortunately today. That'll be something that's a little bit more in the advanced series because you have to write the actual code. Now, there are PHP scripts out there like C99 shell and so on and so forth that you can host on some other server that you can include into this. But today we're going to focus just on the local example. So let's just go ahead and close this out. Now, of course, as it said here, we can just change our page equals parameter. And since I'm already running this as root, I'm just going to go ahead and type in /etc/password. And you can see at the very top here, it lists the entire password file of all the users, their shells, and so on and so forth. Now, of course, you can see that this is very dangerous. We can also list in here the group file, I believe. And sure enough, you can see the group file. Now, this is all Linux-based stuff, and if you're familiar with that, you would know what this all means. So it basically lists all the users on these systems or the groups that are in the systems. But anyway, getting back to that, you could even list, let's see, var www, and let's go ahead and we'll find a file in there. And we'll just do, I don't know, test.html, perhaps. And you can go ahead and see that this was just a test script that I wrote here for my XML document conversion that I'm still working on. So basically, you can see it's pretty dangerous to find that. Now, of course, you can just create a quick Google Dork in URL, index.php question mark page equals, or route equals, so on and so forth. And you could probably find a host of vulnerable websites that may or may not be vulnerable to it, I should say. But again, you'd have to try. So of course, guys, I don't, as always, recommend you just go out into the wild and hack all these websites. Of course, we're trying to learn how to be professionals here, and this is something that you would use on your customers' website if you were hired to do a web pen test on their site server, so on and so forth. So that pretty much sums up local file inclusion. Now again, unfortunately right now I don't have an example for remote file inclusion. I might try to see if I can't find a C99 shell, maybe hosted on the same Kali Linux box here, and go ahead and show you what that looks like. We might just do a separate video on RFIs or remote file inclusions, but for now, this is local file inclusions. In the next video, as per one of our Facebook fans, I'm going to go ahead and create a video here on uploads and the ways around that. Now, the beautiful thing about the vulnerability on the file uploads is that, just as a precursor here, is that you can upload a local file and trick the system into thinking it's a JPEG, or in some cases where there's zero security on the websites, you can actually include a PHP file. It'll tell you where it's saved to, or you figure out where their uploads are saved to, and then you go ahead and navigate to that PHP file, and now if you put a C99 shell in there, you would have full access to run system commands on the actual web server. Very dangerous stuff. So we will create a video on that file upload as well. The next video I want to do is the RFI to complete the file inclusion mini series here. And so we will get that out to you as soon as possible. Again, guys, I appreciate everybody coming to the website, signing up for the free account, going into the community and posting your questions in there, and I'm doing my best to answer it, and other users in the community are also posting answers and questions on the forums as well. So that's really great. I really appreciate everybody's donations that have come in over the last month or so. It's definitely helped out with putting back some of the money back into the project here, paying for the hosting costs and my time to make the videos and stuff like that. So again, guys, everybody that's donated so far, I appreciate it. Thank you very, very much. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Enjoy.